Hello, everybody. For our restoration project, we have looked at restoring the city as a livable habitat for birds. We looked at an integrated approach to increase greenery in urban planning to restore diversity of bird species. Bird species diversity suffers by a lack of greenery. This intuitively, of course, makes sense. Of course, by the expansion of cities, more and more space is lost that would be beneficial for avian diversity. In order to combat this, cities should integrate greenery into their city planning for new construction projects beyond just providing green spaces, green spaces such as parks, and also look at how they can re-green existing building infrastructure. So we have in this project looked at the benefit of using green buildings or green building features, using private gardens in the landscape ecology of the city, as well as leaving remnant trees and bushes in urban construction, and using all of these things as an integrated management to restore avian diversity in cities. So, why should we restore bird diversity in cities? As we have discussed in class before about urban ecology, there are several benefits of having species diversity in cities. There are benefits for human mental health to have access to nature. Urban sprawl is taking up more and more land, so habitats that would have previously been viable for birds are now not anymore. And also, urban centers typically have proximity to institutions that can manage and inform on diversity efforts, such as universities, but also management organizations, NGOs, and political institutions. And seeing that bird diversity, as well as any other species diversity at this point in time, is generally under threat, providing more of a viable habitat is definitely helpful wherever that would occur. Furthermore, urban biodiversity efforts increase awareness through residents' contact with nature as well, awareness about general biodiversity issues. And hopefully this can also help bolster public support for conservation and restoration management. So one incredibly interesting type of intervention that can be used to restore bird diversity is to use green building features. You might have seen or maybe you're familiar with some of these already. They include such things as green walls and green rooftops and green balconies, examples of which you can see on these three images. As this study pointed out, overall, so irrespective of green building feature type, green buildings in dense areas have twice to fivefold the bird diversity of normal dense residential areas. So it's really a good measure to ensure that bird species can thrive in cities. Here you see just a general schematic of a building with several green features. You see the three that we mentioned, but also interesting other ones that we don't tackle in this presentation, but definitely fascinating in their own regard. Specifically, looking at green walls and green balconies, a benefit that can be of this is that they can be applied to existing buildings that are already around, if done correctly, and they can also be incorporated into new construction projects. There was one UK study of green walls, and this study showed that the walls were frequently used for nesting, food, and shelter, so providing these services for the increased viability of the bird populations. And they compared this to the use of bare walls in a comparable area, and they found that these bare walls were never used for these purposes. And in the green walls that were examined, they also found some bird species that used them for these purposes that were of conservation concern in the UK. And they also, in this study, pointed to that this is a cost-effective method of providing more greenery without having to remove existing buildings. There's also this quite famous example of the Bosco Verticale in Milan. And yeah, as you can see, it's even quite aesthetically pretty. And it was found that this was quite a successful venture. And they had a recorded return of finches and doves, and there was a suspicion of return of kestrels onto these balconies and the surrounding area that hadn't been here before. So it's definitely a good measure in order to restore bird species that have previously or have ceased to exist in the area. And now Velin will talk to you a little bit about green roofs and a few other measures that can be used to restore bird diversity in cities.